Yeah, thanks for bearing with us, and thanks for staying with us for our very last session before we all get our well-deserved refreshings downstairs, cool beer. At least I look forward to this. Yeah, I think a very interesting topic because digitization is always about individualization. So I'm very happy to have two speakers up on stage in just a second to share their thoughts with us. I'm very happy to welcome Susanne von Fabit. Great to have you. Please grab a seat. And sorry. And of course, Cornelia von Brygge. Happy to have you. And maybe to start with a short anecdote. Susanne and I were talking a little bit about this compilation of guests, and she said, why isn't there a counterparty up on the stage? So just to keep it interesting for you, you see an additional hot chair. So if you have any thoughts about this or want to join the conversation and share your thoughts with us, please take a microphone and come on stage with us. So that's for starters. Yeah, so the last 20 minutes for us, I think it's a great topic. Maybe tailor-made banking or vertical banking as it is called. We at Bitkom, we also always try to, digitization to not leave behind people, but, take everyone with us so that everyone can profit from digitization. So what I would like you to do, just for starters, to give a brief introduction, who you are, what are you doing, what are you focusing on, and maybe if what we are doing, taking everyone with us with digitization, maybe a motivation for you why you are building the product. Cornelia, maybe starting with you.
Yeah, thank you. Brygge is focused on actually half of the German market. So actually, I'm wondering why this group wasn't taken better into account before, but we are focusing on people in their second part of their lives. So one can also refer to as 55 plus in banking. And we think that over this time or over this phase, starting in your mid-50s, you have a different way of doing your financials, everyday financials, your behavior changes, you're preparing for retirement. And also probably at that time, you try to also take care of your parents. Being oldest or part of the oldest old group. So at Brygge, we try to cover all of these different characters because it's also not one bucket. It's quite different people we are referring to. So we have the tech-savvy people, 55 plus, who are interested in Brygge because of learning from their data, because our second mission, apart from no one's too old for online banking, is that everyone should be enabled to learn on their own from the data and not only commission-driven salespeople, to put it quite frankly. Yeah. And that is what Brygge could be, sum up, yeah.
Okay, thanks for that introduction. Jump in a little bit deeper. Susanne, maybe you, what are you doing?
Yeah, I'm the founder of Fabit. Fabit is a finance app for people who are not good at managing their money. So it's kind of a behavioral science-based Weight Watchers for finance. My motivation to found Fabit is rather derived from my last 10 years in fintech. I used to work for a cash-based via fintech, and I'm also the host of a huge event series here in Berlin. And my observation of the last 10 years of financial technology is that most products are founded for the top 10% of our society. So we, the people sitting in this room, we can now day trade, we can invest in cryptocurrencies. I'm pretty sure all of us have used a robo-advisor, but this is not for the masses out there. For example, like 2/3 of the Germans do not have a single euro on their bank account by the end of the month. Our target group can be found in social media under the hashtag Klarna-Schulden. And there are pretty many people having this problem, and that's why we have developed Fabit.
It's very interesting. You mentioned that 2/3 not left with a single euro, or maybe even less. do you think we as maybe as an ecosystem have also a responsibility to look after those, or are we doing something wrong? I know maybe you can have 10 euro plans per month. This is what we are propagating all the time. What's your view on this?
I think not only as an ecosystem, but as a society, we do have a responsibility. I'm a huge advocate for financial education also in school, so like learning like the practical things, because financial knowledge is hugely based on experience. If you've never made the experience what happens when you don't pay a bill, you don't know what happens. Like no one of us can really like describe a debt collection process, I guess. As a society and also for the school system, I would wish for financial education in school, but I'm also deeply convinced that there are at least 2 generations out there who do not have the financial knowledge they should have, and that's why it's also the task of our industry to provide these solutions.
I might also add, I think it starts with diversity in teams, right? Because the mass of products we develop today is developed by people like you and me, like white, privileged academics who are tech savvy. And so they leave out groups that are not part of their peer group, because mostly the products are developed for the people who build them. And so it's pretty important that when Susanne and I need to focus on our users, that we talk to them and include them in our process. And also I would wish for like employing and onboarding like devs at that age, of course, as well, right? If they're out there, so please apply. And yeah, so it's important also to mirror society in our teams to make sure that everyone is thought of in the production process.
Totally get it, but then maybe a question to Susanne: do you reach your peer group via digitization? How do you help them? I mean, I would assume, but correct me if I'm wrong, that if you have troubles financially seen, you wouldn't be the one who suddenly starts taking care of it. So how do you manage to overcome that, I don't know, first movement?
That's part of the behavioral science approach. So we reach our target group by using trigger moments. Each and every one of us has trigger moments in their financial lives. So that might be when you want to move into a new apartment, or you want to have kids, or simply the very moment you receive a bill that you cannot pay. And that's exactly where our advertising starts, because we partner with companies in debt collection, but also huge bill payment companies who advertise for Fabit on the bills that they send out. And this gives us the opportunity to reach customers in that very moment when they potentially cannot pay and are open to a solution like Fabit.
Get it. Maybe not coming, I think it's great to understand what you're doing, what the motivation is to get this discussion going. But just thinking out loud, taking the idea on the paper, what is there, financial education, helping others, taking care of your financials. Isn't there at the end of the day a broader spectrum of potential consumers? I mean, I scanned your website. I would love to use this app. Definitely not the peer group, especially I could improve my financials, I guess, as well.
Sure. It's simply our go-to-market approach is to start with the customers who have the greatest need, the largest pain in their life.
Same. I would also say that people in the second part of their life currently are those who might have missed out a bit on digitization, maybe didn't have a job that they were faced with. So we focus on this group, and also you're welcome to use Brygge, and you probably find an online banking in which you will feel more relaxed. But the data science we do will be truly focused on this second part of life, because this is where we want to build up our thought leadership.
So, but do you think there is a potential? I mean, yeah, you're starting your business as we are speaking. Do you think there is a potential to widen the group in, I don't know, 3 to 4 to 5 years? And what would this make with your initial concept, so to say?
We already have this target group or this segment in our customers. We have quite a lot of people we call optimizers. Those are people who are really optimizing their budget, who give every euro a job, and it's kind of in a direction of frugalism, so to retire early and to save as much money as they possibly could. We do have that target group already. I think in terms of our product development, there need to be many more financial products within Fabit so that we can actually cater to this group and to all of their needs.
I think there would definitely be a market also for younger users when it comes to this independent advice part on our solution. However, I also think that to build a great product, I deliberately decided to do it in a vertical way because I really believe in user centricity, and the broader your product is, your user centricity gets hurt, so to say. So I rather have the vision that everyone in this room will be keen on joining brygge as soon as he reaches that age where he's actually using the knowledge we provide.
Maybe thinking out loud, I mean, I guess if I would own a bank, as I don't do, I guess this would be nice additions to an existing portfolio, or to help actually your clients to grow with you, or help them transition into different phases of lives. How do you consider your product? Do you think there is a potential for cooperation in the future with other players in the market, and make it even, or render it somehow like a feature or product addition? What is your take on that?
So brygge is far more than a feature, and actually I think the reason that people try to solve complex user centricity problems by putting out another feature is actually the reason why we are there. Because a lot of banking solutions get people overwhelmed because there's too much features. It's a feature overflow. And that is what actually brygge is doing. We radically reduce features in the first place so that people really can focus on the key things they want to do. And to answer the other question, it's brygge has deliberately decided to start as a B2C business in order to build up the knowledge we need to become user-centric. I've been working with banks for 15 years. In different B2B businesses. And I knew from the start that if I would start working B2B from the beginning, the product would not come out as I wish it to be. And but what we do is we open ourselves to say, hey, banks, please don't develop anything yourself, for example, to just be compliant with the Accessibility Act that comes around 2025, also for banks, and then become a big model. But keep in mind that we will be there then when the product is stable, and we will help you also to benefit from our product by then. But in the initial phase of building brygge, I really want to focus on the users.
Got it.
Same here. We're also absolutely user-centric. We are also very agnostic when it comes to partnerships. So we have developed the product together with debt counselors. We partner with debt collection agencies and basically everyone in between where there's a benefit for our users.
What is the feedback from the market, or also the end goal? I mean, in an ideal world, you would actually try to push this 2/3 from the bottom. I hope this doesn't sound as bad as it just did for me. And actually help them to reach the upper third. Is it like a customer journey you have in mind when dealing with your potential clients? So where to get them financially?
We use the term financially healthy. And being healthy does not necessarily mean that you're being rich in the sense, but to be financially stable, to have an overview, and to have control over your finances and therefore also your life.
And also maybe I can add to that, because what we do is also say people, or let me start differently. Our business model works in a way that we want to earn money by asking people to spend a monthly fee. but only if they have a certain amount of income. So everyone who has less than 1,000 euros of income is offered brygge for free, because we have a huge old age poverty problem also as part of the society, and we want to tackle it by giving people the opportunity to come join brygge and take care of their finances in a better way. And I think to add on this financial healthiness is also a big part looking in an optimistic way on your situation, right? So you can look on your account and like become desperate, become frustrated, and also, of course, get into psychological problems around your troubles and you're running around in circles. But maybe we can help people to look at their finances in a solution-oriented way, and that there is a way of dealing with a low income and a low pension plan, and that you can actually still have your nice little moments in retirement, even if you don't have a lot of money. And we want to bring together those people in communities where they can share those ideas of easy ways with less money and still having fun and enjoying life, because it's not everything about spending money. You can have a great night with, maybe everyone in this room had the greatest nights in front of a Späti in Berlin instead of, right, a fancy club in
Put me on that
on Mabea or whatever. Yeah.
Totally agree. Maybe to round this discussion up, maybe it's a bit tricky question or not. In a lot of panels today, it was, you know, somewhat overshadowed by the current state of VCs, the current tightening of the market. If you look at your business model or the market, do you think it will be for you with this, I'd say, social driver a bit more difficult to get the foot down on the ground on the market? Do you think you will have a shot, or do you think investors will focus on other businesses with a broader scope, maybe not offering free models under a certain income? What is your view or your gut feeling? Is this quite new?
I think in the current economic conditions or current economic market situation, unfortunately, my target group is growing. And besides, I do think it's the best time now to found a startup, because we will have a period where we will deeply focus on business and not focus on creating the perfect fundraising story. And being as small as we still are is kind of a luxurious situation, because it's mainly driven by very passionate people, and that's basically the basis you should have for your business.
Yeah, I can agree with that. And also, I would say we looked at investors from the start with a different perspective than the usual growth startup. So from the beginning, I was rather looking into impact investors. And also we talked to more strategic investors, maybe, who give us another connection to our ecosystem we need to get involved in. So we also don't follow a typical growth story, because I also think that the product would suffer from it. And we say, or we define ourselves as a zebra. So for us, revenue and impact has the same level of importance. And that is what we're also looking for in an investor, to foster this story and not only put it on the growth.
Thank you very much. And I really liked, Susanne, you saying, now's the best time to found, which actually brings us back to German Angst. We discussed a lot lately yesterday and in the morning. Looking at my watch, I'm afraid we are running out of time, but I want to just use the opportunity to maybe quickly open the floor if there are any additions to this or any questions. Well then, Susanne, Cornelia, thanks for sharing your insights with us. I'm happy to continue the discussion downstairs in the sunshine. It's going to be great. Thanks for being with us. Thanks you, and genau.